Hi, welcome to my video on the system of linear equations with two variables solved by elimination method, part 4. We'll continue solving by the elimination method. Solve by the elimination method. Steps. Change each equation to ax plus by equals c. Coefficients of one of the variables have to be opposites. Add the equations. Find the value of the variable. Substitute the value of the variable in number 4 into one of the equations to find the value of the other variable and state the solution. So these are all the steps that we did in the previous videos, and now we'll work our way through each system. Solve the system by elimination. Notice all the equations are in ax plus by equals c form, and notice that these are opposites, so I can draw a line and I can cross these out because I'm going to add them. So negative 2x and x is a negative x equals negative 6. So I add, divide by negative 1 on each side. So x equals 6. And now we have one value, so we'll sub into, the better equation to sub into could be, let's say, this one. So this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So I'm going to write it out. Sub 6 for x into number 2. Substitute 6 for x into number 2. So I'll write down number 2. And I'll sub in 6 for x. So 6 is going in the place of x. And now I'm going to solve. 5y equals 1, subtract 6. 5y equals negative 6, divide by 5. They cancel to give me 1y, 1 and 1. And negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. So the solution is x is 6 and y is negative 1. That solves the system. Writing it down this way is telling, by numbering the equations and writing it down, it tells the marker or the teacher or keeps in line with what you're doing. So it's a good way to do it. Let's do B. 3x plus 4y equals 6. X plus y equals 1. So I have a choice. I have a 3. I can eliminate the x's or I can eliminate the y's. So let's multiply this by negative 3. And we multiply this one by 1. That gives us, if we put that on the side here, watch, 1 is not going to change the equation. So 1 times each of these remains the same. Negative 3 multiplied by these is negative 3 times x, negative 3 times y, negative 3y, and negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and we'll add those. The x's cancel out and I get y. When I add these I get y equals 3. So we're going to sub that into, I forgot to number the equations. This is equation 1, that's equation 2. So let's write it down here. I'm going to sub 3 for y into. So what equation do you want? Well, the easiest equation here is this one because they got 1's, into number 2. So write down number 2 and sub 3 for y. So 1 minus 3, x equals negative 2. So we have the solution. So I'm going to call it SOL. X is negative 2, y is 3. And if you took these two numbers for x and y and subbed it into the other equations, you would, and if it works out, then you know you got the right solution. C, solve this system. So now notice we have a negative 4x. They're already in the ax plus by equals c. They're all in that order. So you can multiply. Notice this is a plus and a minus, and this is two minuses, so it's easier to multiply this one by 2, because then I'll get a negative 8, and that'll be an 8. So I'll multiply. This is number 1. This is number 2. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 2. And I'm going to multiply this equation by 1, but I won't write it down. So 2 times 4x is a negative 8x. 2 times negative y is negative 2y. 2 times 1 is 2. Now I multiply this one by 1, but this stays the same and not changing it. And notice I have the x's and the, I thought these were opposites, but these are the opposites here. Cross those out. So that's a negative 4y equals 8. Divide by negative 4. And y equals negative 2. Now, we're going to sub negative 2 for y into, and what equation is the better one to sub the negative? It really makes no difference. This is the smaller one. We can sub it in here, and let's sub it into number 1. So write down number 1. And we're putting y is negative 2. So negative 4x, subtract, y is negative 2. So negative 4x plus 2 equals 1. Negative 4x equals 1 minus 2. Negative 4x equals negative 1. Divide by negative 4 on each side. So x equals 1/4. So the solution that we have is x is 1/4 and y is negative 2. Hopefully you're beginning to see the pattern. If the previous videos worked up to each of these steps, now we're putting it all together. So we have a system we're going to solve by elimination, but we have to put the equations in the right order. So what happens? We go, x goes to the left to become positive, y is on the left is okay, and the 30 goes to the right to become negative. So this moves to the left to become positive, that moves to the right to become negative. And the second equation is 4x is okay, 5y is okay, and the 9 moves over to become positive. So now let's say this is equation 1, and this is equation 2. I could do equation 1 and 2 up here, but I'm putting it here because this is the order I want. So no matter what I do, I have to multiply. These are both the same sign, so one got to be a negative and a positive, and the same with the y. So I can go with 2 and 5. So let's multiply this one by 5 and multiply this one by 2. But I have to have one of these negative, so let's make the 5 negative. So negative 5 times this equation gives you negative 50x plus 10y equals 150. Number 2, we're multiplying it by 2. We get 8x minus 10y equals 18. And notice we have, draw a line. I multiply to eliminate the y's are gone. So I get a negative 42x equals 168. Divide by negative 42. So x, that cancels out to give me 1. And 168 divided by negative 42 is a negative 4. Now, we need sub negative 4x into, which equation do you want to go into? You can go into these, or you can go into these. It don't make any difference. We're solving it in for x, so these have got the smaller numbers. So let's go into number 2. 2 has got smaller numbers. So 4x minus 5y equals 9. So we're subbing negative 4 for x. Negative 4 is going in for x. That gives me negative 16 minus 5 equals 9. And negative 5y equals 9 plus 16. Negative 5y equals 25. Divide by negative 5 on each side. Y equals, that's a negative 5 there. Negative 5. So the solution is x is negative 4 and y is negative 5. Again, if we took those two numbers and subbed it into this equation, if it made it true, you know you're right. We normally wouldn't sub it into this one because we already did this. We already did number 2 here. So if you sub those two into here, you would, and I'll just do that just for a quick, just to show you. So x is negative 4, y is negative 5, and we should get a negative 30. That's a negative 40 plus 10 equals negative 30. Negative 30 equals negative 30. So I just verified, but you weren't asked to do that, but I just checking. And practice means pause the video and work out these and press play when you get them done. So in the right order, correct, ax plus by equals c, ax plus by equals c. And notice these are automatically opposite, so I can add right away. So I get a 12x equals 12, divide by 12, and I get x equals 1. Now I'm going to sub 1 for x into, and again, I forgot to call this equation 1, and this is equation 2. So let's put 1 into. Let's go into the second equation because it's all positives. So 3x plus 4y equals 2. So we're putting 1 in for x. So I sub 1 in for x. 3 times 1 is 3, so we have to multiply first. 4y equals 2 minus 3. 4y equals negative 1. Divide by 4. Y equals negative 1/4. So the solution is x is 1 and y is negative 1/4. Okay, let's solve number 2. Don't forget, pause the video and work it out. When you get the answer, press play to see if you're right. Already in the right order, x, y number, correct. Now I have a 7 and a 2, so that means I go 2 times that or 7 times that. Right here I got a 6 and a 3, so it's better to do, this is number 1 and this is number 2. So I'm going to multiply this equation by negative 2. And I don't have to multiply that one at all. So I leave that one alone because it's already a 6. And if I want, I could put a 1 here and multiply by 1, but that's the same as writing it down. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 2, negative 4y. And negative 2 times negative 9 is 18. So I have negative 6 and negative 6, they cancel out. And 7 and negative 4 is 3y equals 0. Negative 18 and 18 is 0. Divide by 3. So 3's cancel. I get 1y equals 0. So I'm going to sub 0 for y into. And which equation you want to put it in, it makes no difference. You can do the first or the second. Let's do the second. So let's write down the second one. 0 for y. So I'm subbing in 0 for y. You multiply. 2 times 0 is 0. I can leave that out. Don't have to put that down. And negative, divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. That's So they cancel, and I get x equals negative 3. So the solution, x is negative 3, y is 0. And again, if you sub the two of these into number 1, if you get the right answer, you know you're absolutely right. Because again, sometimes you can make a mistake. Next one. Now, we have to solve by elimination, so we have to put them in the right order. So let's put them 2x, this is number 1, and this is number 2. So 2x minus 5y equals negative 2. And this has got to go on the correct order, so the 3x moves over to become plus. The y is okay, and the 16 negative moves to the right to become positive 16. I have them in the right order, and I want to eliminate, so it's best to deal with these two because they're already plus minus. So I'll multiply this one by 2, and I'll multiply this one by 5. And what did that give me? It gives me 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 5 times 3 is 15x. 5 times 2 is plus 10, y. 5 times 16 is 80. And draw a line, arrow there. They cancel out. I get 19x equals 76. Divide by 19. And 19 into 76 goes 4 times. Use your calculator, use your head, it's up to you. And now I have to sub 4x into. So which equation do you want to put it into? You could put it into this one, or you could put it into these. Let's put it into this one right here, number 2 up above. Let's put it into this one that I got marked. As long as you mark them, it won't make any difference. So 2y minus 16 equals negative 3x. The reason I picked this one because I already have x. I need to solve for y. Y is right on the left side, perfect, and the x. So if I did this one, I would have to put the x's in here and divide by 5. It makes no difference. So x is 4. So I'm subbing 4 in for x. So 2y minus 16 equals negative 12, because I got to multiply these two before I can add. So that makes it 2y equals negative 12 plus 16. So we go right here. 2y equals 4. And we divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I have the solution. I have x equals 4 and y equals 2. Solved. Again, don't forget elimination. You have to eliminate. It means you need the opposites. And it's nice to have the equations in the right order. So number 4. Let's see. We have to put them in the right order. So we go 5x minus 6y. Again, this is number 1. This is number 2. So I'm taking number 1 and I'm rewriting it. X goes to the left, become positive, y is okay, and the 8 is okay. Number 2, the x is okay, the y moves over to become a minus 5, the 3 moves over to become a plus 3. And we want to eliminate, so if you deal with the smaller numbers, both of them are plus or both of them are minus, so I have to multiply at least one of them by a negative. So smaller numbers is 5 and 3, so I'll multiply this one by 3 and this one by 5, and one of these has to be negative in order to get a negative 15. So let's make a negative 3 and a positive 5. That gives me negative 15x, positive 18y, and a negative 24. Multiply this one by 5 is 15x, negative 25y, and 5 times 3 is 15. The x's are the opposite of each other, so they cancel out. and 18 and negative 25 is a negative 7y equals, and negative 24 and 25, negative 24 and 15 gives me a negative 9. Divide by negative 7, so y, they cancel it to give you 1y, and there's a 9 over 7. So we're going to sub 9 over 7 into, pick an equation. What do you want to put 9 over 7 into? You can do this one, you can do this one. I'm going to do number 2. In sub 9 over 7, and I forgot to put 4, that's 4, y into number 2. Sub 9 over 7, 4, that's a 4, y into 2. So I'll write down number 2. Number 2 just looks a little bit easier to deal with. And the reason, because I have x where it is, then I can move everything else to the right side. So y is 9 over 7. So here we go. So 5 times 9 over 7. So 3x minus 3. 5 over 1, 5 nines are 45. Over 1 times 7 is 7. Now I have fractions. So what I'm going to do with, when I have an equation with fractions, I multiply the equation by, like I did up here, I'm going to multiply the equation by 7. It's because the LCD is 7. So I'm going to multiply the equation by 7. So that means I can go 7 times 3x, 7 times 3, and 7 times 45 over 7. I'm multiplying 7 by all these terms, but if I put 7 with each one, then it makes it easier. So that gives me 21 minus 21. 7's cancel, and I get a 45. Multiplying each one by 7, you see what's in front of you is easier. 21 equals 45 plus 21. 21 equals 66. Divide by 21 on each side, it cancels. They give me a 1x, and 3 into 21 goes 7. 3 into 66 goes 22. So, works out, both of them works out to be fractions. So the answer is 22 over 7, and y is 9 over 7. So why not work out to be fractions for your answer? They still work. Let's continue. Solving by elimination, practice. Now I left the last question to be the best question. Just more math involved, more practice. Solve by elimination and check the solution. Okay, I'm going to solve first and then check. So what we have is that we have two equations with fractions. So I'm going to write down each equation separate so I won't mix them up, so you can see what I'm going to do. So this is the first equation, and this is the second equation. So the first equation, I have fractions, so I have an LCD of 3 times 5, 15. So I'm going to multiply both equations. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 15. Multiply the whole equation by 15. So, but if I put 15 times each one of them, it'll make it better, easier to deal with. So notice I'm multiplying the whole equation by 15, but it's better to put 15 times each part. And notice the fractions will cancel. 5 into 15 goes 3, it gives me 3x. 3 into 15 goes 5, it gives me 25y. And 15 times 4 is negative 60. So we have that one done. Now let's deal with number 2. Now, notice that we have two fractions equal. So if you have a over b equals c over d, remember you can cross multiply. A times d equals b times c, and that's what I'm going to do here. So 10 times x plus y equals 5 times 4. So that's 10x plus 10y equals 20. Perfect. So cross multiplying, you get that. Or you can multiply the two sides by 10, which is the LCD, and you get the same answer. You won't get the same equation, but it'll work out. Now I have the two equations. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them on top and bottom of each other so I can see what I have. This way, so this is the first one, this is the second one. So now I can multiply by 10 and 3 is the easiest. Multiply by 10, multiply by 3, and one of them got to be negative, so make that negative 10. I'm eliminating the x's. So 3 and 10, nothing in common, so I'll multiply by 10 and 3, negative. So that gives me negative 30x minus 250y equals 600. And multiply by 3, that gives me 30x plus 30y equals 60. Add, cancels out, and I get a negative 220 equals 660. Divide by negative 220. Oh, and that's a y, sorry, put my y in. They cancel to give me 1y. And positive divided by negative is negative. The zeros cancel. 66 divided by 22 is 3. So y is negative 3. So I'm going to sub negative 3 4y into. So do you want to go into here or you want to go into here? Your choice. Probably this might be a better one. Let's sub it into number 2. Now if you want, you could sub it into one of these, but we don't know if these are right. But let's go into number 2. Makes no difference. Again, subbing it into one of these makes it easier, but I'm putting it into one of these. So y is negative 3, so x plus negative 3 over 5 equals 4 over 10. Cross multiply, 10 times x plus, or x minus 3, plus a negative I got now, or let it stay, is 5 times 4. 10x minus 30 equals 20. 10x is 20 plus 30. 10x equals 50. Divide by 10, and I get x equals 5. So the solution works out to be x is 5, y is negative 3. Again, instead of subbing into number 2 here, I could have subbed into either one of these. So just for a second, so if I wrote down 10x plus 10y equals 20, and I put negative 3 in, instead of going into this one, I'm putting it into this one. Notice there's no fractions, so it's easier if I sub it into here, one of these two. So 10x minus 30 equals 20. 10x equals 20 plus 30. 10x equals 50. Divide by 10. X equals 5. So it's easier to sub it into here, this one, than it is this one, but that's your choice. You can sub it in this one or this one. You got 4 equations. So remember, if this answer is wrong, no matter what one you sub it into, it's going to give you a wrong answer. So that brings us to the end of solving the system by elimination. When that's practice is not an end. I have a couple more videos to show you about the different systems. So if you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, because more videos coming. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content that's on my YouTube channel, Math Fully Explained. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye-bye.